All right. I think this is working. I hope so. Let me start this real quick. All right. Before we get started, I just want to see if everything is working correctly. So I can see that people can chat. That is good. Um, can someone try putting their hand up to see if that is working? Oh, my mic is echoing. Oh, putting hand up is disabled. Okay, that's a problem. Let's see if we can fix that. Um, I'm not sure how to enable that. It doesn't allow me to enable that. That is weird. Yeah, I can see the setting in the role settings, but it's like it's disabled. The whole setting is disabled. That's weird. Is it because the thing is currently? Yeah, because it started. Oh god. Okay, I guess we need to end it and start it again. Can I invite people up? Okay, let's try that. Let's see if that works. Ah,
Booger.
there we go. Okay, I guess that works. So if someone has a question or wants to speak, just put it in the chat, I guess. And my echo is coming from my stream, someone is saying. Yeah, I guess you can just mute the stream. I don't know why my voice is coming. Oh, I do know why my voice is coming through it, because this is the recording for the session as well. All right, so you guys can just mute it if it's annoying. All right, so welcome to the first session of the Art of UI Design. In this session, we will just be going over some basics. Like we will be setting up a Rec Room Studio project, because I know some people don't really know how to yet. So we will be taking some time to do that. And then I'll show you guys some UI design principles, like what makes a great UI design, stuff like that. And then we're going to be like trying out and working with some of the basic UI components that Unity has to make a very basic UI scene. And then we'll test that out in Rec Room. Are there any questions about this so far? Nope. All right. Cool. This is also my first ever class that I'm teaching, so for me it's also very new. So I hope this is gonna be flawless. All right. Let's start with setting up a Rec Room Studio project. So let me switch my screen to this right here. I don't know if you guys have seen it, by the way, but there is also a channel in the Discord called Class Resources. I put this link in there. This is basically a document that I wrote explaining some things that we will be covering today in this session. Is this being recorded? Asks DG. Yes, it is. So you'll always be able to rewatch it. Anyway, let's start with setting up a Rec Room Studio project. So I'm currently running a virtual machine just for this purpose. I don't have Rec Room Studio installed yet, so that is what we will be doing. So if you don't have Rec Room Studio yet, you can go to recnet/creator/studio, and this is where you can download it. And then you open the setup, you run it. During the installation, if anyone runs into any issues or has questions, just let me know. Yours has an update. That's okay, you can update it. Alright, so we just click install, and then it should install. Is there a way to see the stream while on Studio? Yeah, you can pop it out, and then there should be, if you pop it out, there should be a button that lets you pin the stream, or you can use it on your phone or any other device. TG. Oh my god. Alright, so now we get the Unity Hub set up. We just need to go through this, click agree. Then I always think it's best to just keep this destination folder default, because otherwise Rec Room Studio, I've seen some instances where it runs into issues. All right, then that is complete. So we click finish. And then it will be searching for the right Unity version, which is 2021 329 F1. Which isn't installed yet, which it is prompting me to do now. Also, just keep this default, otherwise it can run into issues. So just install. We need to quit Unity Hub, which is fine. The channel looks like a stream chat. It kind of does with the little chat in the bottom left. Sport Billy, yeah, they'll be fine. This is all being recorded, so if they're not able to join this session, then they can always watch the recording after. So that shouldn't be an issue. You're on the Unity Hub. Do you press the Create New Projects? Not on the Unity Hub. If you press Create New Project in Unity Hub, then it will create a Unity project, but we need to make a Rec Room Studio project, which this one is almost finished installing, so we'll get to that very shortly. All right. Almost done, I think. ng create, yeah, you can just open. If you already have a project, you can just open that and open a fresh room. This installation process is just for the people who don't know how to install Rec Room Studio or create a project, or don't have it installed yet. How do you open a new room? I'll show you guys that shortly when this is finished installing. You got the room name Inkscape UI. Cuckoo, technically, yeah, technically we need to be teaching in Rooms 2.0, but I guess it's up to you. If you want to choose Room 1.0, that's up to you. I'll be teaching in 2.0 though. Oh, that's until August? Oh. Oh well. Better to be early, I guess. And I've been using Rooms 2.0 for a long while now, and I'm loving it so far. Yeah, Slider. To be fair, I've only really used 2.0 with Studio, so I don't really notice the building bugs. This installer is really taking its time. All right, I think while this is installing, maybe it's a good thing we go over these UI design principles for whoever has not read this yet. Basically, this explains a little bit what makes a good UI. So some basic design fundamentals are that you need to understand the importance of a clean and intuitive UI. Because basically, if it's clean and intuitive, then it's better for the end user to interact with it, and it makes it more enjoyable and a better experience for the end user. Then the user-centered design principles like usability, accessibility, and consistency pretty much make your UI easy to use and understand. Don't like make it super complicated. Just make it easy and simple to use. That is basically a good UI. And while you're making UI, it's always good to ask other people's opinion, because then you can see like, are they able to interact with it? And if not, if you make a UI, for example, and you show it to someone, and don't say anything, just let them do their thing. If they are already confused from the start, then that's a problem. They need to be able to use the UI pretty much immediately on their own. That is a good UI. And a very good website that I put here is the Game UI database. DG. Okay. So the Game UI database is a very good website for checking out UIs from other games. They have loads of games on here. For example, someone name a game in the chat and I'll see if it's in here. Team Fortress 2? Let's see. There's actually no Team Fortress 2. That's surprising. Alright, the next one, I see Jedi Survivor. It's right here. Let's just check this one out. So they have everything really nicely categorized. Like, you can see that this is an action game, 3D realistic, third person, etc. And then here we've got the title and settings menu. So here's the title screen, the mode and screen select. You can basically go through everything, like all the UI of these games. So you can get inspiration from this, you can recreate it if you want. It's really cool. So this is a very useful website. Some other things you can do on this website is you can select a genre. For example, if I'm creating like an open world game, I can select open world, and let's say a horror game, an open world horror game, and then we get all the examples of open world horror games. For example, The Forest, that's a very well-known one. So here you can see all the UI that they have. Very useful website. All right. Oh, Rec Room Studio is done. Let me just finish this up real quick. Here's some some principles of visual design. You need to like get a good balance, good contrast, good alignment, repetition. This one in Unity, we'll go over that. You can make prefabs, which makes it easy to reuse certain elements. And then grouping related items together. Like I said, this page is in the class resources channel. I'll also put it in the chat if needed, so you guys can check it out. The game UI database link is also on here, so you can check that out. All right, then go back to the installer. So Rec Room Studio is now installed, so we can create a new project by clicking this button. If you guys don't know how to get a project started, you open the Rec Room Studio launcher, which is this one right here. Then you'll get this little screen, and then you can create a project. So I'll make a project here on the desktop, just real quick. Make a new folder and then call that whatever you want to call your project. So I'll just call it the art of UI design. There we go. And then click select folder. And then it's going to create the project for you. After hitting create project, here, hold on, I'll just do it again real quick. So you open the Rec Room Studio launcher, let it do its thing. All right, create new project, and then create a folder anywhere you want. I recommend putting it somewhere where you can always find it back. So I created this folder, the Art of UI Design. You can call it whatever you want. Basically, the name will be your project name. And then you just click select folder. And then it will create the project. And then it asks to quit Unity Hub. Yep. All right, and then in my case, there's no Unity editor license yet. I know some people here contacted me as well that they are having this issue. It is pretty easy to fix this. You just click Open Hub, and then you need to sign in or create an account. In my case, I already have an account, so I will just sign in. And then I'm quickly going to not show that while I sign in. Yeah, I'm not showing you guys my details. Everyone is all sad now. All right. Here we go. We're signed in. And then you'll be prompted with this, get Unity personal, agree. And then I am pretty sure that we should have we should be good to go now. So then we can close Unity Hub, open Rec Room Studio Launcher again. Yeah, ng create updating. Wait, updating Unity? Do you mean updating Rec Room Studio? Because updating Rec Room Studio can take a little bit. Alright, so I'll just select this folder again, and then it will finally create the projects. What will be the final projects? Pretty much everything you learn in all the 7 class sessions. You'll have to use all that information to make a nice looking UI. And make the UI actually work with in-game circuits. Which I will also be teaching. Yeah, it can just be a UI. You can make a whole game around it. Or if you already have a game and you want to use this class as like making a UI for that game, that's also possible. Give you a game idea? Well, I have something very useful for you. Slider, you are correct. So in ChatGPT you can make like your own GPTs, and I made one for Rec Room, so it's really cool. I'll just quickly show that. I'll have to log in, I think. Yep, let me just... no, it's free. The Room GPT is completely free. Yeah, it did cost a few, like $20 a month a while ago, but not anymore. Custom GPTs are completely free now. It's absolutely insane. You guys really want to see my email, huh? Alright, so here it is, Room GPT. Basically, what you can do in here Yep, that one's still going. There's some basic commands here. You can, for example, do /help, and then it'll show you all the commands that are available. Will I be showing you how to do animations on objects? Not exactly objects, but I will be showing UI animations, which is very similar. But yeah. So here's some commands that you can do, and then wait, what? So I can do /game, for example, and then it will just give me a random game idea. So here it gave me Treasure Hunt Island. Wait, what? There's no way. Room idea for finding DJ Iker's login info. That's crazy. Oh my god. That is absolutely crazy. Right, but another example, I can do like /currency, which is very outdated now because Rooms 1.0 is gonna be going. But if I do /currency, it will give me a currency that fits with this idea. It's really cool. Alright, is it almost done? Nope, it's still going. If you're getting a new PC soon during the class, yeah, no, you can just sign into Unity and Rec Room Studio. The project, though, is locally stored on your PC. Or, like DG just said, you can use the cloud. Or you can just create a new project on that new PC and just download the room. Yeah, as long as everything's been uploaded, you can download the room. Carrying a thumb drive with your project everywhere is a bit overkill, I think. Because Unity projects can get very, very big. Oh no. Nova, what are you doing? Is it possible to crop UI? What do you mean by cropping UI? Oh, you're okay. You're trying to add the gradient. Okay, so it's visible outside the box. Got it. That is where we use masks. I won't be able. I won't go over masks in this class session, but that is something that I will be showing in a class session later on. Maybe if we have time, I'll quickly go over it to show you how masks work. But we'll see if we have time for that. Wait, Nova, you're able to share your screen? Oh, okay. Just download more RAM. Yep. How does that work? It lets you join it as a speaker. Will it actually allow you that to speak? Because I feel like that's an issue that Discord needs to fix. Well, yeah. If it's illegal, then don't do that. What are we doing today again? Oh, would you look at that? Basically, what we're doing today is setting up a project, going over some UI principles, some info about UI, what makes a good UI, which we just did. I think I lost the link. But in class resources, in that channel, you can find the link, which is this one. This explains a lot. All of this is very useful information. And then right now, since Unity installed, the project is open. So we're gonna be looking at some basic UI components. All right, is anyone's Unity still loading? Okay, Evertide and Hards. Okay, so 2 people are still loading. Imagine not having the room, the Art of UI Design. Actually, I think I do have that room. All right. I'll have to... I don't. Wait, what? How? How do you have that? I'm pretty sure I do. Wait, what? Are you sure you have that? Okay, anyway, let me just do this real quick. You need to click sign in, which I just did. Then it opens your window, your browser window. And then you just need to click allow. And that's pretty much it. And you're logged in. The Art of UI Design home. Yeah, that's interesting. Here, I'm pretty sure... Where is it? I'm pretty sure I got it. Oh, I guess not. Oh, I think that's Science Academy that I was thinking about. I'll just be using the Science Academy. All right. Anyway, when you're signed in to Rec Room Studio, then you can click My Rooms. And then you can either create a new room or select an existing one, which is what I'm going to do. If I can find it. Science Academy, there we go. I'll just create a subroom called the Art of UI Design. There we go. Create subroom. All right, Evertide has it open. Heart, yours is still loading. That's okay. Heart, DJI Classroom. Heart, you can just let yours load. I will be continuing with the class a little bit, but once yours is done loading, just tell me and I'll help you out with some things that I explained to everyone. Yep, all we did is open Unity. Yeah, it will also be recorded, so you'll be fine. All right, so we are in our room. Finally. So we can get started on some UI. So, first things first, if you don't know how Unity works, I'll just quickly sort of explain where you can find like the basics that you're going to be needing. So at the bottom of your screen, you'll see your project folder, and this is basically where all your assets and files and everything will be located, your objects and everything. Then next to that, you'll see the console, which is a different tab. And if there's any errors or warnings, you'll see that in here. You can see there's a lot of them right now, which they are pretty much always there when you load up your project. I don't know why. You can just clear it by clicking the button in the top left. All right, go back to your project. On the right side, we have currently the Rec Room Studio menu, where we can sign out, we can check our rooms, we can edit the room settings, like the image and everything like that. You can download the room, you can upload it, test it, and see all the versions. Then all the way at the top, to the left of it, we can see the inspector. This is where we can inspect things. It's called the inspector for a reason. When you create a project, can you upload it to any rec room? I'm not sure what you mean. Like when you create a project, you can open any room that you are an owner or co-owner in. And then you can make changes in Rec Room Studio and then upload those changes. I love how everyone is just flexing how many warnings they have in the console. Oh, Hart, your project is created? Your project opened? Yeah? Okay, cool. Then I think we're all on the same page now, which is good. Alright, continuing this. So this is the inspector. If you click something in your scene, which is the big middle window, you can see that you see some information about this object in the inspector, like the position, the rotation, etc. Then on the left side, we have our hierarchy. This is where you can see all the objects that are currently in your scene or room, however you want to call it. So we've got a welcome mat and a floor. So the orange part, which is always at the bottom, are the rec room objects, and the top part is the Unity objects. Anything that is orange, you will be able to interact with the maker pen or circuits or anything like that. If it's in the white part, like the Unity part, then you won't be able to interact with it. It'll just be static. So that's some basics about how Unity is like laid out. Then I guess we start making a simple UI. So to make a UI, all we have to do is right click, actually click the plus in the hierarchy, in the top left of the hierarchy. Then we go to UI. Time to add Pro Rec Room Studio UI Maker. Yep. All right, so UI, and then we need a canvas. Basically, any UI you create is always on a canvas. The canvas is just the base of your UI. So as you can see, we have a giant rectangle or square thing here. This is the canvas. Currently, as you can see, it's very, very big, which is not very useful. So what we're going to do is make it a bit smaller. To do that, first we need to change what this UI is. Currently, it is set, if you look in the inspector, the render mode is set to screen space overlay, which makes it a HUD UI, so it'll be always on your screen. But what we currently want is a world space, which makes it so it's in the world, like a physical UI you can touch. And then you'll see that these settings unlock, and then we can change these settings. How do you add the canvas? On the left side in your hierarchy, you can click the top left plus button and then go to UI and then canvas. Hard. If you can't change the rect transform options, so for you it probably looks like this, right? Where it's all faded out. To fix that, all you have to do is change the render mode from screen space to world space. Because screen space basically makes it where it's a HUD UI, which always shows on your screen. And world space is in the world, so it's a physical UI you can touch. So only with world space you'll be able to change the settings. So what I'm going to do is just set the X and the Y both to 0. I'm basically going to center it to my world. And I'll just set the width to 1920 and height to 1080. The width and height is basically your resolution for your UI. Evertide, you don't have outline around your UI. Basically, to fix that, all you have to do is in the at the top of your scene, in the top right, you have some options. And the option all the way on the right, if you click this, that basically turns off or on gizmos in the scene. So if you click that, you should be able to see the outline of your canvas. Right, then Alright, it worked. Then, as you can see, the UI is still very, very big. So I'm just going to scale it down a bit. So I'll turn on where it says scale. I'll turn on this constraint proportions. So it scales every proportion equally. And I'm just gonna set that to like, that's a bit much. 0.003. That gives me about this size. That looks pretty good. All right. Then, what I think is always pretty useful is make this a prefab. So what I do is I just right-click the canvas, then create empty parent. So then you'll see you'll have a game object, and under it is the canvas. And then the game object, we just drag it into our assets at the bottom, and that makes it a prefab. Then what we can do is wait, what do we do after spawning the UI canvas thing? In the inspector, if you click on your canvas and then in the inspector, you set the render mode to world space right here. And then set X and Y to 0 and width and height, you can set them to whatever you want. I just choose 1920 by 1080. This is basically your resolution for your UI. Okay, so you just click your canvas and then in the inspector on the right side, set the render mode to world space. And then you'll be able to set these options, like the X position and Y position to 0. And then you can set the width and height to whatever you want. That's basically your resolution for the canvas. And then I just set the scaling to 0.003, so it's a decent size. Alright, so I have made my canvas as a prefab, which is now in my assets. Now if I double click that prefab, we get into this nice editor. Then in here, I like to go into 2D mode because currently we're in 3D space, which for a UI is not very useful. So in the top right, in the toolbar, we have an option that says 2D. If we click that, we just get this nice 2D editor, which is very useful for UI. Alright, so this is our canvas. Then I guess we just add a nice background. Now, I have some very useful resources for UI, which you can find on... Oh. You're stuck. What are you stuck on? It's all blank. Do you see anything in your hierarchy? All right. Harry, are you able to share your screen if I invite you to speak? Yes? Okay. Let's see if I can invite you. There we go.
Saying it's like not letting me share it for some reason.
Oh, that's probably because I'm already sharing. It's right now.
I can tell you the issue real quick. So I was gone for like 15 minutes. I didn't really know what I was doing. So,
Are you able to share your screen now?
oh yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just like stuck on this.
Okay. So first you need to open a room, which on the right side you'll see my rooms, and then you can create a new room or open an existing one. That's up to you.
Alright.
All right, that's your room. Then in the top left, you can in the top left of your hierarchy.
Oh yeah, here, yeah.
Yep. So your hierarchy is basically all the objects in your room currently. So in the top left, you'll see a plus button. Yep. And then you can go to UI, one up, and then Canvas.
Amazing. You want me to stop screen sharing?
Sure. All right, let me start my screen again. Dark Moose, what are you stuck on? All right, that's pretty much where we are currently. So you're all caught up, don't worry. All right, so we've got this now. I was going to show you guys these UI shapes. I'll put this link in the chat. Oh, I'm not sharing. Oh no. There we go. All right, so if you guys go to that link, you can download the UI shapes package. It basically includes some very useful UI, some very useful shapes to use in UI, which I'll show. I'll show you how to use those. So let me download. Then just click open, and then you'll get this window. And just click import. And then at the bottom of your screen, the chat might be in the way a little bit, but if I just scroll, you'll see my name, DJ Icor, and then in here, the UI shapes. There is shapes like a rounded outline, rounded box, a square box, circle outline, circle, gradient, all sorts of very useful shapes to make very nice UIs. and I'll be showing you how to use some of those right now. So if we want to add a nice background to our UI, all we have to do is right click on the canvas in our hierarchy, then go to UI, and then you can either choose panel or just image. I usually just choose image. From what I know, there's not really any difference to them. So I just choose image. I can call that whatever I want. I'm just going to call it background. So how do you get into the blue background? To get, yeah, you have to make it a prefab by dragging it from your hierarchy into the project folder. Harry, if you're not able to figure it out, I'll help you in a little bit. I'll just quickly explain this for everyone else. So we now have a very simple box in our UI scene. If we want to change like how it looks or anything, we can apply one of these UI shapes that I gave you guys. We can either do just a normal square box, or if we wanted to have rounded corners, we choose the box rounded and put it into the source image in the inspector. And then you'll see it has some nice rounded corners. And the great thing about these sprites is that they are very dynamic, and I'll show you that as well. But first, let's make this the size of our whole UI, which we can do by in the inspector we can change the rect transform. We can either just make it the size of our canvas by just dragging it like this. We can also just manually set the X and Y and the width and height for some preciser positioning. Or if we want it to be like scalable and dynamic, the best way to do it is to click on this little thing on the left side and setting it to the bottom right one, which changes some same things here. It basically allows you to set the amount of space on the left side, the top, right, and bottom of the canvas. So you'll see currently it's set to 0, but if I increase this, you'll see that increases the space on the left side. So this allows you to pretty much dynamically set things. You can also choose like different settings. Like this allows you to set the X position, but also allows you to set the top and bottom spacing. It's fun to sort of play around with this to find what you are looking for. But for now, we want this one and just set everything to 0. So since we chose the rounded corners, you'll see there is a small rounded corner, but we can increase this because of these shapes. If you go down to where it says the image and then the pixels per unit multiplier, if we increase this, you'll see that the rounded corner gets less. And if we lower it, you'll see that the rounded corner becomes more. You'll also notice that it gets more pixelated, but that's just a drawback to it. But yeah, you'll basically be able to control how much of a rounded corner you want. So I'll just go with 0.5. I think that looks pretty good. All right. Then about to make infinite crafts. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I already did that. Am I using raw image? No, this is just a normal image. To be honest, I never really use raw image. I don't really see the need for it. What's the difference? I'm pretty sure raw image is mostly used for render textures, like showing like a camera view on it or something like that. But you can also do that with normal images, so I don't really understand the difference. All right, so now we have a pretty nice background with rounded corners. Actually, let me just increase the rounded corners so it's better to see for you guys. There we go. Now, I saw someone ask if I could quickly show how masks work with the gradient shape that I gave you guys. So I'll quickly go over that since we've got some time. All you have to do is right-click the background that we just made, go to UI, and then add another image. Then this image, Harry found my channel, my old channel. That's a really old channel. Okay, so this image that we just made, you can't really see it, but it's there. It's just the same color, white. We're going to do the same thing, set it to the spacing option and set everything to 0, so it's the exact same size as the background. Now you'll notice that the corners are not rounded anymore. That is because this image is in front of it, covering the rounded background. The spacings option. Alright, so to fix this, all we have to do is go to the background, and then in the inspector we can add a component. So we can add the mask component, and what you'll see is that we now have our rounded corners back. And to show you the gradient effect that you can make, I'll just drag the gradient shape into the image that we added, and then I can just change the color of it, and then you'll see that we have a pretty nice gradient. Dark Moose, you don't... Oh, you found it? Okay, cool. So yeah, that's how the mask works. Mine's doing this only at the top. That is interesting. So it's masking everywhere else except for the top. Oh wait. Nova, do you on your background do you have the mask added? Oh, Harry, you should know what people have already used that for. There's been a few YouTube videos, I think, that have used that character of me, and also some cash grab rooms that have put that in their like room picture. All right, so Nova, you figured it out? Yeah, they're using me for cloud. All right, Mr. Ink, yours is also doing that. Okay, basically, you should have two objects in your hierarchy, the background and the gradient. I'll just rename it real quick. So you have your background and the gradient. The background is the rounded one, and the gradient is the gradient. So on your background, you need to put the mask in the inspector. Billy, I think you'll be all right. It will be recorded anyway, so. All right, so now you should have a... Oh, your Unity crashed. Oh no. All right, so you should all have a nice rounded background with a gradient. Then let's add some text. So what we can do is right click the background. You don't have to do the gradient, it's up to you. Someone just asked me to explain how masks and the gradient works, so I just quickly explained it. So right click the background, then go to UI again, and then text mesh pro. Then we will see some text appear. What I usually like to do, because I absolutely hate this big T icon that appears, so I always go in the top right to this little menu and then scroll down to these ones, the Text Mesh Pro and Text Mesh Pro UGUI. I turn those. Why are those not turning off? Oh, it's the 3D icons at the top. Turn those off because they're really annoying in my opinion. Yeah, I know I can turn off gizmos, but then you won't be able to see the edges of the canvas. Oh my god. You guys are already making memes with that image. Oh no. Alright. So we've got some text. Let's position it and change the text. So You can drag it anywhere you want. Currently, I'm using the transform tool, I'm pretty sure it's called, which is a tool for UI. If you want to change to, let's say, this tool, which just has the positioning, you can just press W on your keyboard. You can press E to switch to the rotation tool, R to switch to scale, and T to switch back to the UI thing. So you can drag it anywhere, you can make it bigger, do whatever you want with it. You can also, if you are in the inspector, we can change the text. So I'll just put the art of UI design. There we go. And there's a lot of text options. We can center it. We can change the color of it. We can select a different font. Make it bold. Right, I'll just center this up here and make it a bit bigger. Sort of as like a title. That is very big. How can you get more fonts? That is something I will show in a little bit. How do you get rid of the big T? In the top right of your scene, you'll see this little down arrow. If you click that and then turn off 3D icons, that is how you get rid of it. Alright, so I've got a decent title. Okay, then let's choose a different font, because this is just the default font that's already in the project. But what if we want a different font? We can pretty much go to any font website and just download a font. I usually like to use this website, 1001 free fonts. Like Dgrin said, you can also use DaFont. There's a lot of... Okay, that's an interesting to instantly see. Oh my god. But yeah, there's a lot of fonts. Oh, that's crazy. You guys missed it? I'll just quickly scroll over it again, okay? There it is. It's the first one. That is crazy. Okay. I'll just choose, for example, this bakery font. That one looks pretty nice. So I'll click downloads. Open the file. It is a zip file. If you don't have... No, I think Windows can open zip by default, right? I think it can. So we've got the zip file. Then this TTF file, that's basically a font file. We can drag that file into our project folder. I'm not going to put it in there. I'll put it in assets. Right here. And there we go. We've got the bakery file. Don't worry if it doesn't like show the actual font on the preview here. This is just an indication that it's a font. It won't actually show the actual font. But what we do now is right click and then create, and then Text Mesh Pro, and then font asset. You can also use the shortcut Shift Control F12. But if we click that, then you'll see that it does something. It will basically create a Text Mesh Pro font asset file, so we can use the font for our text. So now that we have the font file, can I do that again? Sure. So we've got the font here. Right click it, then create Text Mesh Pro, and then font asset. How to get font? You downloaded it. So did you open? Okay, so there should be a TTF file. You can just drag that into your assets folder. Dgrin, what's your question? Okay, Dgrin, I know there are some tools on the Unity Asset Store that checks, like, here, let me see if I can find one. Billy, can you share? Yeah, sure. Billy, where are you? There. Invite to speak. There we go. Okay. So you have your font, yeah. Then you right click it. I don't think I can see what your right click thing shows. I think you'll have to share your entire screen. Oh, there we go. I can see it now. Okay, go to create and then Text Mesh Pro. Yep, and then font asset. Right, now you have the font assets, so we can continue. Was there anyone else having issues with creating the font assets? I think I saw someone. Did I find the tool? Not yet. um, right, let me share my screen again. There we go. Okay. Does everyone have at least a font? Just any font? Yep, you guys have a font? Okay. Then to make a font asset, you just right click the font and then go to create. And then Text Mesh Pro and then font asset. Yeah, Dgrin is right. Can we keep it to class questions and stuff? Okay, so now we should all have a font asset, which looks like this, just a big F. And to apply that font to text, we click our text in the hierarchy, and then you can't create it. What do you mean? Is it giving you any errors or anything? Slider for the gradient, it's not a component. It is a thing that I gave you guys, I gave you guys a gradient image thingy. You'll be able to watch back the recording and see it in there. Your text is not working. I see you're using Text Legacy. I recommend using the Text Mesh Pro because it's way more useful. All right, so to apply the font asset, we click on our text, and then in the inspector, we can either click this little dot on the right of the font asset and see all the font assets in our project. Then we can just click on it, and now you'll see that we have some fancy looking text. Now, there's one more thing that I want to go over with you guys, which is a button. If you want to add a button, all you have to do is right-click the background, go to UI, and then Button Text Mesh Pro. And then you'll get a button. Now, it's pretty small, so I'll make it a little bit bigger. I like to always just do precise stuff. You're the next DJI core. So I'll do 300 by 100. Okay. The button has some text, which I will make a little bit bigger so I can increase the font size. That is the wrong text. That is the title. Inside the button, the text, and turn that up a bit. Okay. Does the button have to be under the background? So if yeah, pretty much, because I mean, not really, but it is useful, because basically, if it's, let's say I put it on the canvas, right? So the button and the background are both off the canvas. Now you'll see I don't see the button anymore. That is because the background is now in front. Now I can change that so that the button is in front. But then if you, for example, change the size of the background, you'll see the title goes nicely with the background, but the button doesn't, because the button is not part of the background. So I always like to put them inside of the background, so it's part of it, so it's like scalable and more dynamic. Right, so this button currently uses the default UI sprite. How does this affect interaction collisions? It doesn't really. You can't edit text. The text of the button? If you mean the text of the button, you'll probably have to, you probably won't be able to click on it like this. You'll have to go into your hierarchy, press the little arrow to the left of button, and then you can select the text there. Yep, Nova, we will be going over that soon. Alright, so like I said, this button currently is using the default UI sprite, which has a really weird outline in my opinion. To fix that, we can just drop in one of my custom UI shapes. So I'll just drop in a rounded one. So now we have a very nice rounded button. Is that good? Yeah, that's pretty good. How do you get rid of the text on the button? If you don't want text on the button at all, you can again go in the hierarchy, find the text that's under the button, right click and just click delete. Alright, so now we have a title and a button. Now let's add a very basic interaction for the button. So we go to the button, then in the inspector scroll all the way down till you see on click. In here we can basically add executions that will happen when you click the button. So we can click the plus to add an execution. And in here it asks us to select an object and then a function. But first we need to select an object. So as an example, I want, when I click this button, I want the text, the Art of UI Design text, to change into my name, for example. So I'll grab that text from the hierarchy, drag it into the on-click execution, and then we can select a function. So to be able to change the text, we will need to go into Text Mesh Pro, and then there should be an option that is string text right here. String text. Once we have selected that, we can enter any text that we want. So, for example, in this case, I'll just do my name. So now, whenever we press the button, it will change the text, the Art of UI Design, to my name. You can do a lot more with like button executions, but just for this first class, we're gonna keep it very basic. That's pretty much it. Is there any questions before I continue? What was the setting again? Do you mean the function? The function? Yeah, okay. So Text Mesh Pro, and then scroll down till you see string text. And then you can just enter any text you want. The function is Text Mesh Pro and then string text. Right, so now that we have this, we can make it work in Rec Room, which it currently won't do because we need to add, we need to make this a Rec Room object. You don't see string text. You'll have to scroll down a bit. There's a little arrow that allows you to scroll down. All right, to make this work in Rec Room, we have to go to the parent object, so the prefab itself. Yeah, scrolling doesn't really work in it. You'll have to use the arrow. So the parent object, which in my case it's called game object. We go on here, and then in the inspector we can add the Studio Object script. Studio Object Rec Room Studio. Once we add that, now it is a Rec Room object, which allows you to interact with it. But since this is a UI, we need to also sort of tell Rec Room that it's a UI, so players need to be able to interact with it. To do that, we go to the canvas, And then we add a component in here, which is called Canvas Interaction. So Canvas Interaction Rec Room Studio. And then we get some options here. In this case, we set is interactable. We check that one because we want to be able to click the button. All right. Then there's one last step, which is this needs a collider. Otherwise, we won't be able to select it with the Maker Pen. So again, on the prefab itself, so the parent object, we click Add Component and then a box collider. Now, if we go back into 3D space, you'll see that it is a box. I'll be changing this somewhat to the size of the UI. I'll just do there. That's pretty close. Good enough. I'm not sure if a 2D box collider works. You can try it. You can't add the studio object thing. Advertise, if you're having that issue, what you'll have to do is make it a prefab. You likely don't have a prefab. What was the last component you added? It is the box collider. So once we have all of this done, then we can save by pressing Ctrl S. And then we can go back into the main scene, which we do in the hierarchy. There's a little arrow to the left. If we click that, we go back into the main scene or the room, whatever you want to call it. And then you'll see that your UI has moved from the white area to the orange area, which means that it now is a Rec Room object. So we can move it up a little bit so we can interact with it. And I'll just quickly rotate it because my spawn point is the other way. What do you use to get out? In your hierarchy, right here on the left side, you see an arrow to the left. If you click that, then you're out of it. If it's very far away, you can check that by looking in your hierarchy, selecting your UI. Yeah, you can click it and then you can, in the inspector, you can manually set the position, or you can press F and it'll move you towards the object. UC2. That's interesting. Do you have 2 in your scene? Can you check the hierarchy to see if you have 2 by accident, maybe? Oh, okay. If that's the case, you can delete the one that Yeah, the one that isn't a Rec Room object, you can probably delete that one, if that's the case. Okay, we're almost done with the class. Last thing that I want to show is how to test this. First, I'll have to load up Rec Room. Evertide, I'll help you in a little bit. Did you upload? No. I'll show how to upload in a later class. Currently, we'll just be using the test subroom option. Alright, while Rec Room is loading up, to save the room, you can either upload or just press Ctrl S to save it locally. For now, what I'm doing is just Ctrl S to save it locally, because there's not really a huge need to upload it currently. Alright, so Rec Room is loaded up. Then all we have to do to test what we have made is press Test Subroom at the top here. Are we using the material we made today in the next lesson? Yeah, we'll be slowly building on what we're making. If anyone is having issues after this class, I'll just send me a message and I'll help you guys out. And you can always watch the recording. I'll probably upload the recording pretty much immediately after the class. Billy, I'll help you after the class. I'll quickly show how to test this and then I'll help you out. What error does it give you? What does it say? Okay, so if you guys don't have any errors, you should be in the room right now. And you can see I can hover over the button and it says select. That means that it's working. And then if I click the button, You see, my text changes to my name. Oh, I don't know why my character's looking down. Oh my, what is going on? I don't know what's going on right now. VM thing, probably. Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird. Okay. Anyway. Um uh Billy, I'll help you after the class. We can hop in a call real quick and then I'll help you out. Okay, if for anyone who is having issues or has had issues, if you're still having issues, send me a message on Discord and I'll happily help you out. Other than that, I hope this first class was useful and informational, or however you say that. I don't know. Of course, this is, like I said at the beginning, this is my first class that I'm teaching. So if you guys have feedback for me, let me know. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for being here, and until next week. Billy, I'll hop in a call after the class with you.